Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and we had a 5-alarm fire here at my house this morning, and what that means is I had run out of coffee, and so I got up too early to go to the grocery store. And so what do? You use your backup coffee, instant coffee, which is kind of like drinking oil mixed with water, but it does the job temporarily. We bridged the gap. Now is iTrustCapital, my partner, is calling it Rollover October, and they've got it where you can get a $100 funding bonus, but you can do it through my link anyway. You can go to iTrustCapital.com/XRP Army, and the promo code's here, $100 funding bonus. During Rollover October, you can roll over your, or any other month, you can roll over your IRA in full or in part into an iTrustCapital IRA, and in there, you've seen the gold and silver prices recently. You can buy gold and silver, and it's physical. They have it stored in, I believe, in the Royal Canadian Mint. So you can buy silver and gold inside of your IRA, but you can also buy crypto. You can buy XRP, Bitcoin, whatever your thing is. Something to think about. And also another thing around IRAs, another thing to think about is hitting your contribution limits. We're getting towards the end of the year. It's something to think about. We've got a 250 XRP. The market's a little bit flat right now. CME, what's driving the surge in institutional crypto engagement? Says they launched new options on Solana and XRP futures, and there's their highlights. Look at this. This is Dan Moorhead. Dan Moorhead was an early Ripple investor. He's also a VC, and he's buddies with Mike Novogratz. I think they both got their Solana token allotments early.
They each do very, very different things. And that's like, we don't have one internet company, right? We have 6 or 8 big ones and then hundreds of smaller ones. Bitcoin's very good at storing money. It's very good at sending money across borders, but it's kind of clunky at doing other things. Ethereum is really good at programmable money, doing smart contracts, but as well, it doesn't process that many trades per second. And then blockchains like Solana and XRP, Ripple's token, they process thousands of transactions per second. So they just really have different use cases. And right now, our biggest position is Solana, but we have big positions in quite a few other coins as well.
You better believe they do. Here's his buddy Mike Novogratz. Galaxy Digital has deposited 250,000 SOL to Binance. You see how the game's played now, don't you? Listen to this from Trump's about BRICS.
And now the domination like BRICS. I told anybody wants to be in BRICS, that's fine, but we're going to put tariffs on your nation. Everybody dropped out. They're all dropping out of BRICS. BRICS was an attack on the dollar. And I said, you want to play that game, I'm going to put tariffs on all of your product coming into the U.S. They said, like I said, we're dropping out of BRICS. And BRICS is like, they don't even talk about it anymore.
There you go. This guy's smart. There you have it. QT is over. Back up the effing truck and buy everything. Signaled central bank may stop shrinking its balance sheet. They're talking about the Fed chair. The important shift necessary to preserve. Let's pull this up. Preserve liquidity in overnight funding markets. And then we had this is Matt Hogan on CNBC.
What's on the horizon? Maybe some government, maybe finally getting some domestic regulation or clarity on what it's going to look like. Is that what's next for Bitcoin?
So for a short-term catalyst, for sure, progress on the Clarity Act in Congress, if we see that, if the government reopens, would be positive for crypto. But the real bull story for crypto is just the slow-moving freight train of institutional investment. I've probably done a half dozen meetings with institutional investors and financial advisors over the last 2 days. None of them talked about what happened over the weekend. None of them talked about the liquidations Meltem talked about. They talked about this need to get exposure to crypto. They're currently on 0. They're going to 5%. That's the big story. It's a slow moving bull market, but it's a very strong long-term bull market from my.
All right. And then we have this. Larry Fink made his rounds on CNBC. Listen to this.
What do you mean by digital?
I do believe we're just at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets, from real estate to equities to bonds across the board.
It's very loud here.
It is very loud, but it's good. Capital's at work. I heard
You like that?
I love capital at work.
Yeah.
But there's $4.1 trillion of money in globally in digital wallets. A lot of that money is outside the United States. If we could tokenize a ETF, and digitize that ETF, we could have investors who are just beginning to, invest in markets through, let's say, crypto. They're investing in it, but now we could get them into the more traditional long-term retirement products. So we look at that as the next wave of opportunity for BlackRock over the next tens of years, as we start focusing on moving away from traditional financial assets by repotting them in a digital manner, and then having people stay in that digital ecosystem. They can have their cash, and we have the largest cash money market fund that's tokenized called BITL. Our Bitcoin IBIT is now over $100 billion.
I know from nothing not that long ago.
Around 2 years ago, 0.
Yeah, I know. Well, you weren't always a huge proponent of crypto, as we know.
Yep, love it. But I grow and learn. I heard you say that on 60 Minutes. I did. Yeah.
That guy didn't grow and learn anything. He grew and learned talking his book, maybe. And then check this out.
So we look at that as the next wave of opportunity for BlackRock over the next tens of years, as we start moving away from traditional financial assets by repotting them in a digital manner, and then having people stay in that digital ecosystem.
Let me translate. The liquidity in crypto is now just under 4 trillion, but what's coming is going to turn it into 100 trillion plus, because everything's going to be tokenized. Ripple announced that this is, what's the name of this bank? Absa South Africa, one of Africa's leading financial institutions, is now Ripple's first major custody partner in Africa. Plans within plans. Look, the Finternet goes live in 2026.
We are seeing now an increasing interest in using this technology and a combination of tokenization.
Look at this. Stablecoin adoption, digital asset regulation, specialized regulators, global initiatives, and pilots. Look, there's SWIFT. I'm not going to play that video for you. It's kind of too long. You don't need to hear all that. Hunter Horsley in Europe today, Bitwise ETPs saw inflows into Bitcoin, Ethereum, Aptos, XRP, DA20 index. Always fascinating to see what investors are doing. Letters of marque and reprisal, folks. ZachXBT says the U.S. likely hacked or reclaimed 127,000 Bitcoin from vulnerable wallets identified 2 years ago. And I retweeted it with letters of marque and reprisal because you'll remember Chris Giancarlo said he presented at the White House this concept that was used way back when in pirate ships and whatnot, where they sent out the U.S. government empowered basically like pirates to go out, steal back the gold that had been stolen, and then the government got it. And I retweeted that and I gave him credit, and he retweeted it and he said, that'll work. So you have to wonder. Half the U.S. crypto pundits will be out of business if it's done here. Japan banned cryptocurrency insider trading with new rules. I can't even count the number of obvious inside traders that we've seen over the years that had information the rest of us didn't have, and they were making billions off of it. Okay, now this gets interesting, folks, and this is what we're going to go over in the group, because I'm not going to talk about it out here. Cowboy Crypto, Bo Hines and Brandon Lutnick, chairman of Cantor Fitzgerald, son of Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick. Howard Lutnick owned the New York townhouse next door to you-know-who, the same you-know-who who was tight with this guy that that founded Tether a few years ago after attending this guy's Mindshift conference at this guy's island in 2011. These are all facts. If they hurt your feelings, who cares? Facts are sometimes stranger than fiction. And then John Deaton comes in with this, and trust you me, it's all tied together, folks. Laura Loomer had put out that you're going to start seeing a lot more news about Sam Bankman-Fried. There's a massive and well-funded lobby effort to get his this criminal pardoned. Now look what John Deaton says. Let me be clear. Any effort to pardon or commute the sentence of Bernie Madoff of crypto, Sam Bankman-Fried, should be squashed immediately. In fact, Pam Bondi should reopen the case against him for violating campaign finance laws. His father, Joe Bankman, should be investigated as he helped create the shell companies used to defraud people. Joe Bankman was the architect to Elizabeth Warren's tax policies when she ran for president. He's no stranger to how to evade taxes. His mother, Barbara Fried, should be investigated. She runs Mind the Gap, a political super PAC, and helped her son with becoming the second largest donor to the Democrats. SBF has also dished millions to Republicans, and if they helped him violate the law, they should go down as well. SBF's parents participated in his criminal enterprise. They held luxury Bahamian property in their names worth tens of millions and received $10 million in cash stolen from FTX customers. Because of their political connections, they were never indicted. Finally, at this trial, it was proven that SBF gave Biden administration $10 million. When asked why he did it, SBF told his girlfriend to buy access to regulators. Now, folks, FTX, Tether, it's all connected, and the island guy. I will not talk about it out here, but I will talk about it in the group. If you want to find out how this all really ties together, lock in, strap in, whatever you want to do. Go to daixrp.com. That's the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, click join below any of these YouTube videos, or you can hit subscribe on X. We do the full video plus the extended video with no commercials. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Get ready to get creepy. Here we go.